podcast, three game developers drinking good Arab tea. I'm your host for this evening, Fawzi Mesmar.
And I'm Rami.
And I'm Osama Darius.
Is it evening?
You know, it's that time of the year when Sweden is starting its descent into darkness.
It's just evening all the time now.
And it's just evening all the time.
You wake up, you're like, good evening, y'all.
Yeah, exactly. You wake up and like, oh, it's still dark. And then
Right.
if you blink, you'll miss the sunlight. And then it's
Right.
dark again.
The Netherlands days are getting shorter, but they never get that short. But I would guess as we're recording this, it's, the sun is going towards sunset. I think I have like an hour and a half left.
An hour and a half. Wow.
Right.
What are you going to do with all that time?
Sit in a dark room recording a podcast.
Great idea.
It's perfect.
We don't want you to get sunburned or anything.
I do not easily get sunburned. That's one benefit to whatever Arab DNA I might have, but I don't sunburn easily.
Oh my God, I am the exact opposite. I actually I always say I'm like the most genetically ill-equipped person to be born in the desert. Like I burn in seconds. I'm like the whitest guy I know.
Wow.
and I did the thing is like with some of my Swedish friends, I put my hand, like my arm next to theirs, and I'm still paler.
Wow.
Yeah, like super
Wow.
pale because I get burned so easily.
I do not get burned. I cannot remember the last time I got sunburned, and it's not because I don't go outside.
Wow.
I think I'm somewhere in between because I do get sunburned, but it takes a lot. It takes a lot. When we went to Cuba last time, I think we were there for 5 days before I got sunburned out of the 7 days that we were there. My wife got sunburned on the first day. But so like I have some tolerance to it, but it's not immunity like
You guys are lucky. In New Zealand, it was in New Zealand. I don't know if you guys know, but like the thinnest ozone layer in the world is like
Right.
over that region of the world.
Mhm.
So even on an outcast day, if you're not careful, you can get super burnt really quickly. Like the sun
did.
is really harsh.
I did not get sunburned in New Zealand either.
Wow. Man, like
impressive.
it's so common. Like the sun is so harsh over there. Like like at the supermarket checkout, you'll find like gum and like chocolate. They
Mhm.
also have like tubs
Yeah.
of sunscreen.
Yep.
On your way out, make sure to always have some.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. I mean, it was intense. It was definitely intense sun. I remember thinking like, ooh,
Yeah.
wow, okay.
Yeah.
But did not get sunburned.
As a bald man, I want you to know if you're walking around without putting sunblock on your head, even on an
Overcast day.
overcast day, it's not good. It's not good at all.
I like that the conclusion is like, yeah.
There was this one time when I was like, I had friends visiting in Jordan, and we were out and I'm showing them around. I took them to Wadi Rum, so I was like out there in the desert, and we were in the back of a pickup, and I forgot to bring sunblock with me. What a rookie
Uh-oh.
mistake! So I was like, all right, my neck is gonna burn, so I'm gonna put my cap backwards to protect my neck. But I also forgot that there's an opening of the cap on the other side. So I had like a dome-shaped burn on my head for a good 2 weeks after that.
2 weeks.
How do you cover
Yeah.
that? Like
Yeah.
for hats, I
God.
guess.
I don't cover it. It just started peeling and stuff. And then put the hat regular. That's how you cover it the summer.
Right. And then he also got the same burn on the back of his head, and then it was just then we didn't know how he's just rotating the hat to hide the previous burn.
You know those chickens you buy from the grill? They're like on a stick and you're just rotating them around.
It's your head. Oh, I love
S-
it.
yeah, no, I genuinely cannot remember my last sunburn. I don't.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't remember at all.
Yeah,
I don't know if it happened.
Mine was literally my honeymoon. Cuba with my wife. That was like 100 years
this is-
ago.
Just to be abundantly clear for Frank, the CIA agent that listens to us, I know we've mentioned Cuba 10 times in the first 10
I'm
minutes of this episode.
Canadian. I'm allowed to go.
Why is
That's it.
it always Osama that's mentioning all the CIA triggering messages? He either wants to crash land planes in Flight Simulator, or he
Right.
wants to travel to Cuba
Look,
I'm very excited for a story about North Korea next week.
The truth is, I just really want to meet the CIA agents listening to our podcast. That's
The thing is, Osama, you probably already have, but you don't know.
Right. Anyway, Frank, have a good one. We'll talk next episode.
Bye, speaking
Frank.
of agents, I watched Agent James Bond in action last night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I watched it 2 weeks ago.
Did you?
When it came out.
Right
when
movie
it came
called
out.
No Time to Die, I think.
Right. Yeah, I spent no time waiting to watch it.
Yeah, it's super good. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
Good.
Oh.
Me too. It was good.
I want to talk about it, but I feel like it might be a lot of a lot of spoilers.
Yeah, it's weird, right? A James Bond movie with spoil. You know what? Shall we just talk about what we think of the movie and then do a little spoiler segment?
Yes, but we need to really call out that it's a spoiler segment because
Right.
I don't want to ruin this for anybody because
Right.
it's
It's a
an
good-
enjoyable movie.
It's a clever movie too. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So let's just talk about what we thought, and then we'll do like a 10-minute Osama warns people that it's spoilers, and then we'll
Yes.
talk about spoilers.
Sounds
Okay,
good.
let's do it.
All right, so I'll
Big
give you
disclaimer.
my verdict then. So I probably would say that this is my favorite James Bond movie of all time.
Wow.
Wow.
I
Wow.
really, really enjoyed it. And like the last one that made me think that way was Casino Royale. So it's kind of like a nice bookend thing for Daniel Craig. Well done.
Right. Right.
He made like two of my favorite James Bond movies.
He did 3 for me because Skyfall is also up there. for me.
Skyfall is amazing. Yeah, I agree.
Right.
But
I'm
this
not
one,
quite sure if Skyfall is a James Bond movie.
yeah, that's true. This one I enjoyed immensely. I thought the plot and the story was very nice. I love the character development and the character arc. The action and the chasing scenes were super good, and the locations in which they shot the movies I thought were amazing.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Really nice back sets for a lot of the actions going on.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
I agree mostly. I think the plot was a little uneven at times, but because the overall sort of story really, you've got like the plot and then you've got the things they're doing, right? And I think the plot is relatively strong. It has some weaker points in the second half, but the things they're doing don't always match up with the plot.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's used to really great effect. There's a great action sequence at I think at Osama's honeymoon, where there's just like it's a really fun scene, action, quite ridiculous, honestly. I think in Cuba, and it's really silly. It's like old school James Bond levels of silly.
Yeah.
But it works really well.
Yeah.
For the movie, right? It still drives the plot forward, but then there's also sequences where I'm just like, okay, yeah, I guess I can continue watching this.
Yeah.
The movie had no intermission in the Netherlands, which is most
Neither in
movies.
Sweden.
Most movies have a break in the middle, but if it doesn't, if you want to go to the restroom or grab a snack, you have to hop out at some point. And there were just scenes where at the start of the scene you could immediately tell, like, this is a good moment. Which it's good to have breathing room, but I feel like every now and then there were just moments in the movie where I wasn't that interested. And I have to say, and I'm really sad to say this, but a lot of the scenes featuring the primary antagonist, who's the actor shares my first name, were actually a lot of those scenes where I was just like, yeah, okay, I guess fair.
Yeah, not the strongest Bond villain.
No,
For sure.
no, not even close.
Yeah.
Which was kind of a letdown.
I like the actor though in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Although he's messed up my Google SEO.
I can imagine.
You can't be the only Rami.
No, but I was for a while. I was like one of the most prominent Ramis in the world, and now there's like 5 of them.
Good.
There's like a TV series called Rami. There's Rami Malek. There's football players called Rami. There's too much Rami.
There's never enough Rami. That's
for my SEO. You know, definitely enough Rami. Everybody just find slightly different names.
Ramu, let's go for it.
Ramu, yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I thought that didn't quite work. The sort of like plot thingamajig, you know, like the plot device. I thought that was fun.
Rami, it sounds like you're skipping the synopsis and going to the detailed stuff. So should we just talk about the detailed stuff?
Or about the synopsis, you mean?
About like like you're getting your verdict, and then we're gonna give the spoiler warning and talk about the details of the movie.
Right. Oh yeah. Let's just move to. I mean, there is a thingy that threatens the world. Is not really a spoiler for James Bond. I feel.
Of course, yeah, that's not a tough spoiler.
So, but okay. Shall we just move to spoiler? I enjoyed the movie, and I agree with you that it's in my top 3 favorite Bond movies.
Mhm.
I would just probably go Skyfall, No Time to Die, Casino Royale.
Okay, yeah, that's a good list.
Right. And then Quantum of Solace is at the bottom of my James Bond movies.
Yeah, I didn't like that movie at all.
Right. And then I think Spectre exists, but I don't have a rating for it. It just I forgot almost entirely that Spectre existed.
It's somewhere there.
Right. It exists. It's definitely a movie, and there are movie things to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's do spoilers. Osama, can you do those? Can you just warn people that they're spoilers?
People, there are spoilers. From this point on, there will be spoilers about the Bond movie. I will mark it for you to make it extremely clear. You have been warned.
Yeah, if you want to skip this entire segment, check the show notes. If Osama puts them in, if he doesn't put them in, just kind of pray and guess where you continue the episode. And I hope you don't land on like the big spoilers.
I like my warning better.
Yeah, well, I mean,
yours is more useful.
I'm a producer, so I'm doing worst case, best case scenario, and like, what if Osama doesn't have time to do the show notes? And so, either wait until Osama does them or just guess. It'll be fine. Inshallah. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
It will all be fine. Okay, yalla, let's go. Spoilers.
So, I don't know. Like, it's kind of hard to go spoilers without starting at the biggest one, I guess.
Right, but it's also kind of hard to say it.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's work our way up for it. So,
all right.
what I liked about the movie is that this is a movie like I think that makes James Bond the most human I've seen him in any movie before.
Right.
Like,
for sure.
It really humanizes the character, grounds him, gives him emotions. Like he had emotions, he had feelings for people before, but he is vulnerable in this movie.
Yeah.
Like he has weak points, and his weak points is for the person that he loves. And that is a weakness that got exploited multiple times in this movie.
Yep.
In which, like, he thought about that he is getting exploited at first, then he was tricked into it because that was also another exploit that was used against him, and then he was literally held under that that guise to give in to the enemy's demand, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, he's definitely vulnerable in the movie, and I like that because it makes the strength stronger.
Yep.
Right. I think that was sort of like the defining feature of Craig's James Bond character is that Bond got to be strong out of vulnerability.
Yeah.
Instead of just being strong.
Yeah.
Right. And I always liked that about Craig's Bond. I thought they kicked that off really well in Casino Royale.
That's true.
And kind of kept that threat rolling. But also, like, I think the other big thing to just consider is obviously how much of an impact continuity has had on this movie.
That's true, right? Like, I don't think James Bond series had this much continuity
ever.
Yeah, like you miss stuff if you miss the James Bond movie. I've never had that before,
It's funny because they do a pretty good job of because I like watching things like that where I'm like, okay, what if I knew nothing about this, right? And I went into Avengers Endgame like that, into Infinity War, into the new James Bond. Any movie that requires previous viewing, I always go in, what if I didn't know anything? And they do a really good job of setting up the main characters, setting up Swan, of setting up Bond, setting up Vesper, and all of the other characters. So they do an incredible job
Mm-hmm.
of setting up who's who,
Yeah.
right? Even if you haven't seen the other movies, but if you've seen the other movies, there's definitely extra depth to a lot of what's happening.
Yeah.
It also really, really clearly shows which Bond movies in the Craig era were completely superfluous. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
You can skip those ones, no problem.
right. If you skip Quantum of Solace and you skip Spectre, you will still be totally fine.
Yep.
Because Spectre kind of gets explained away. Like, they actually literally have to retcon a large part of Spectre, which they do. And in Quantum of Solace, basically nothing happens except for one interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
That also gets explained in like 3 words, and the character is not actually important to the movie much.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. It's kind of messy. I feel like this formula could have worked better if they kind of knew where they were going with it at the start. But also, it's James Bond. That's just not how they used to shoot James Bond movies. And I guess they kind of had to adapt as things went.
Yeah.
They did a pretty admirable job of pulling everything together, I feel.
Yeah. I agree. Like, I think like the whole Daniel Craig saga now feels connected and complete.
Yeah, for sure. And some really good like they found good ways to hurt Bond.
Oh yeah. So
Right.
I think that like this vulnerability and his obvious weak points kind of give some overshadowing over this will also be could lead to his demise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the stakes. There are stakes.
The
It
stakes
feels
are
like there
high.
stakes.
Yeah.
And they make very clear that the stakes are not really a cop out, right?
Yeah.
There's a scene near the middle of the movie where Bond loses a character he very clearly cares for, sort of like a love-hate friendship kind of thing. But it's very clear that this is not a like, oh, in the next movie they'll be fine. Like this is like no, this is it. This
They're dead.
They're dead. Which I really appreciate. Like Bond doesn't lose people that he actually cares for.
Yeah.
Right. He loses people all the time, but it's like, okay,
yeah,
this person is dead now. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Let's go on with the job. Right. I think that puts us on a pretty fast railroad towards the final spoiler. Don't think there's a way around this one.
Yeah.
One more spoiler warning. Yo, for real. I think how much we stress that this is a spoiler warning should also give away kind of what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, exactly. I did not expect to see the end of James Bond being caught in a movie like that before.
No, I did not expect that either.
I didn't
wait, end of James Bond, as in James Bond dies?
He dies in the movie. Yeah,
James Bond dies.
Wow, that's big.
Yeah, he dies in a pretty big way too.
I think we needed a third spoiler warning for that one.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, he and it's a relatively well executed twist, I will say.
Yeah,
because there is this moment in the movie where you just know. There's no way out. The way they've set up the themes of the movie and the way they've set up the narrative of the movie, like it all points at this has to end, right?
Yeah.
And from that point on, you're just waiting for them to like, psych, but they don't. And that was actually just really good cinema to me. Like, yes. you know it's coming. There's no way around it, and still you're thinking it's James Bond. It's James Bond. There's no way it's got. Oh my God!
Surely
there'll be something like he'll grab a hang glider or like a helicopter or a submarine or do a backflip. I don't know, but no, there's no point for the character anymore to do any of that. I liked it. the movie hit pretty hard for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's because of this, right? To keep kind of like, yeah, it's gonna. I. What's the point of watching the movie if I can know how's it gonna end? And then they go like, "Yep, you didn't see this coming, and we're not backing up from it."
Right. Yeah. It's a good scene. It's a strong scene.
Yeah.
The character gets played to its like logical conclusion. Like
Yeah.
A person like Bond has no other way out.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Especially now that he has a family.
Right. Which spoilers by the way. Bond has a family now, including a child.
Oh.
His final sacrifice is for them.
Yes. So I kind of think that they're gonna pull off something similar to like an Uncharted 4 here, whereas like the next Bond movie might be the next Bond might be his daughter.
Might also not. I mean, it will kind of invalidate his sacrifice in some ways,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
No, I thought it was really strong. The basic premise of the movie is that Bond is made into a danger for his partner and daughter in such a way that he cannot be near them, and his existence is a threat to their existence. They explain this using nanobots, which are one of the best plot devices to just say, well, they do this. That's it. We're not going to explain it. That's just what they do. And
They're all fans of Kojima. They're like, let's add nano machines to this.
Nano machines. So the nano machines make Bond into a clear and present danger to his family, and he decides that he would rather make sure that he completes his job and is not a threat to them.
Who's they? The Lalilulelo.
Right.
What?
So Bond just kind of gets obliterated. And does that from a place of love. And I actually thought that was I mean, if you look too closely at the scene, don't look too closely at the scene. But if you think of it as the logical conclusion of the character to find love and acceptance and a reason to care, that is probably the best thing that could have happened to Bond in his life. And to have that be the conclusion of his character is probably the best way they could have concluded that character.
So basically, what you're saying is, in the sequel, the nanobots will reconstruct the new Bond. A better Bond.
Absolutely.
So nano machines could end up sorting everything out, as usual.
Of course.
That's how it works. But yeah, I found the ending really good, and honestly, I like the scene after even more. Because obviously it's played to pretty big dramatic stakes. Like, right, it's a dramatic scene. It plays out dramatically. Music, people crying, all that. And then the next scene is back at MI6 headquarters, and it's just sort of like Bond's colleagues sitting around having a toast, and then putting the glass down and going, "Well, back to work." And I actually that was the scene that really got me. Is that all of this, and the world is gonna just go, right? It's just gonna keep going, and everything continues. And I feel that was a really good. That was probably the better send off between the send offs. It's Bond. He stands for more than just a person. He's an ideal or an idea of the person who stands between us and chaos, and there will always be a Bond, even if it's not this person, right? I like that. I thought it was really well done.
Super well done. I'm really now curious to see what the next Bond is gonna be like. I thought it was also super cool to see a female 007 in the movie. I really enjoyed her character. I thought she was very clever and smart.
Nomi, yeah. Nomi was cool.
Very cool character.
She was more by the book than Bond.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I thought was good. It played well against James.
Yeah, I would watch a Nomi movie as well.
I would watch a Nomi movie.
Yeah.
That said, I also really liked Paloma. the CIA agent in Cuba by Ana de
Oh
Armas.
yeah, I loved her.
It was probably the most fun the movie allowed itself to be,
Yeah,
and it worked really well.
yeah,
It kind of gave me the feeling that there is indeed room for two types of James Bond in this world.
yeah.
The one that's completely cheesy,
Hmm.
and the one that's as self-serious as this one.
Yeah, the whole scene felt like an homage to a traditional Bond of all, and it worked really well.
Right. She really, like, for the 4 minutes she's in the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's one of the most memorable scenes of the movie.
yeah, she owned it.
Yep, it was fun.
Cool. Ending
James Bond.
spoilers. That's James Bond. No time to die.
Right.
No time to
No
spoil.
time to no time to spoil anymore. We're out of spoiler time.
Out of
We have to
spoiler
get
time.
back to no spoiler time. Osama, can you bring us back to there are no spoilers?
There are no spoilers. We're back.
Perfect.
And
Perfect.
we're back. Hello.
is good.
If you like spoilers, send spoilers to info@habibis.com.
Please do not send spoilers.
Don't do that.
Can you imagine checking your email and just being like, Dumbledore dies? It's like, what?
Bruce Willis was dead all along.
Oh my
God. In Die Hard?
Yes. Yes.
That's why it's called Die Hard.
Yeah.
It just keeps dying harder for the rest of the
no. You spoiled it for me.
Can you imagine a Die Hard like cinematic universe though? Now I'm just thinking about it.
Don't they have like 5 movies or something?
I don't know. I stopped caring at some point.
I stopped after the third one. I've never seen the fourth or the fifth.
I saw the fourth one on an
I
airplane.
don't know how many there are.
I saw the fourth one on an airplane.
Okay.
It was a very airplane movie.
Okay.
Speaking of, you mentioned Uncharted earlier. Did you watch the Uncharted trailer?
I did.
I
For the
did.
new movie?
I did.
You know what? I had zero feelings.
I had one
was-
feeling.
It was absolutely a trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's about the
That's not a
extent of
feeling.
feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. It was just absolutely a trailer. There were characters and set pieces, and yeah.
Yeah. I have 2 feelings about it. The first is it did not, even though I recognize some of the scenes, like, you know, in the trailer where the airplane opens up and all the things are flying and you have to climb that. I remember playing that. I did not feel that it was an Uncharted movie. It didn't feel Uncharted. And I don't know why. It felt like a normal heist movie. That's all it felt like. And the second is I could not stop thinking about Spider-Man. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Spider-Man would never get hit by a car.
I think that's like I felt that the casting of Tom Holland, he's a bit younger to be Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
But I think that's what they're doing story-wise, right? They're saying this is like a prequel, but also they're using all the set pieces from the games.
He's still using set pieces from Uncharted 3 I've seen. So like, you know,
Right.
like my brain kind of broke.
Yeah. So they're saying that is not their story. They're saying just ignore all the games, and this is the character from the games, but we're pretending we're starting like young Nathan Drake starting to do his adventures, and we're just going to immediately skip to Uncharted 3 without actually skipping to Uncharted 3.
Which is confusing, but I get it.
Basically, I just it was the. I normally feel something at everything, and I didn't feel anything here, which was really sort of concerning for the movie.
I didn't react well to the casting. Mark Wahlberg felt that he's more of a Nathan Drake than Tom Holland is.
That's
Sully
true.
didn't have a mustache. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
What is going on?
Sully still has to grow the mustache. It's pretty cool. It takes many years to grow a
I'm not
mustache
gonna wait.
like Sully's.
I'm not gonna wait 2 movies until I see a mustache. I want it. I want it in the trailer.
You know it's going to be at the end of the first movie, right?
And he grows the mustache, like he
Right,
turns
that's like-
around
they
and like he's looking at you, kid.
They do the Casino Royale thing,
Yep.
Yeah.
right? Where at the end of the first movie, it's where you go like, oh, hey. There's the line. They're 100% going to pull that.
I will watch it. I will watch
Yeah,
the
for
Uncharted
sure.
movie.
Of course, I will watch the Uncharted movie, but also I'm bracing to walk out of it the way I walked out of Cats.
No.
Okay, maybe not that bad,
I
but
doubt
it
it'll
won't
stoop
be
to
that
that
bad.
level, but yeah.
I mean, I feel like I will walk out. My current guess is I will walk out of Uncharted feeling less happy about having watched it than I felt when I walked out of Bad Boys for Life,
I haven't seen
which
that.
I actually quite enjoyed. Bad Boys for Life. I feel like this will be a movie, and I will walk out of it and be like, "That was a
Wait,
movie."
Bad Boys for Life is like the third Bad Boys movie?
Yeah, it's the one where they're old.
Okay, no, I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's good. It's surprisingly just fun. It's
Okay.
very Bad Boys.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't
good.
seen it either. I saw the first two. I liked Bad Boys back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do a good job of making it work now,
Good.
which is nice. So yeah,
The
wow.
Uncharted movie didn't feel
Rami,
like
other than
fun.
watching video game trailers, have you played any actual video games?
Ooh.
Yeah, I made a mistake. I made a big mistake. I booted up Animal Crossing again in anticipation of the upcoming update.
Did you find all the villagers and pitchforks and stuff?
Yeah, just everybody was just kind of like, "Wow, where have you been?"
Yeah.
I thought I was just never going to see you again. I'm walking around looking at like weeds around the place. I had to kill like 75 cockroaches. My hair was all messed up. I had to move some stuff, and like I don't know. I feel miserable and unhappy, and I never want to play the video game again.
Oh no.
But that's always what happens to Uncharted with me. Uncharted with Animal Crossing with me.
Animal Crossing starting Tom Holland as KK Slider?
Yeah.
Why
I
not?
can see Tom Holland do that. After seeing him do Umbrella, I believe he can do anything with music. I'm good. But yeah, no, so Animal Crossing, I played that for a little bit and then realized like this is probably a bad idea, and I'm just not gonna. I played Flight Simulator, and I'm actually using it for my actual training now. Because I don't know if I think I told this, but I'm picking up my pilot's training again.
Yay!
Yeah, it's my birthday. And when this comes out, it's my birthday in 2 days.
Wow.
I'm the 30th of October, so I have a double lesson booked for that day. I got my aviation sunglasses. I got my headset. I got most of my gear, so I'm ready to like really pick things up again.
Nice.
But part of that is you have to learn the available approaches and like takeoffs and the circuits and sort of like the place you can fly and you can't fly. So I've been just studying the local air map.
Mm-hmm.
Or the chart, as they call it.
Yeah.
And I'm just flying those in Flight Simulator.
That's cool.
It's surprisingly useful.
It's useful. Yeah.
Because, big airplanes fly on instruments, something called IFR. And I fly VFR, Visual Flight Rules. Mm-hmm. So I can only fly really by, what I see. And sure, there are some additional like tools to help you figure out where you are, but mostly you're flying by what you're seeing. And finding visual cues of like, oh, here's this ecoduct, this sort of like grass patch that goes over a highway to allow animals to cross from one side of the highway to the other. That actually perfectly aligns me with like the entry point for the circuit for runway 7. Finding that in Flight Simulator has been really helpful.
Nice.
Because it's actually just Earth. It's based on satellite photos. So it's been fun. I've been flying my Cessna around. I also, because my mom is really worried about me taking flight lessons, she's like, these Cessnas, they look not sturdy. And so I've just simulated a bunch of emergencies just for fun and see what I could do if something went wrong in the airplane, engine stop or whatever. And Hilversum has plenty of places to set the airplane down pretty safely.
Yeah.
So, you never know, but airplanes are incredibly safe. And it seems like in case of emergency, Hilversum is a pretty good place to be. So I don't expect any emergency situations, but if there are, I've now prepared for them a little.
That's amazing. I'm happy you're back to doing it.
Yeah, me too. It's a hobby that I picked it up a decade ago and then just kind of couldn't continue. And might as well pick it up. I have, I'm planning 6 to 8 months of training. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to hit that but it seems doable. Doing 2 lessons a week.
Wow. Okay.
And
intense.
Yeah, I'm going for the fast one because I know like life is starting again. I'm going to be in England most of the well, by now, by the time people listed this, the past week. Going to Brighton for Develop.
Oh yeah.
So events are starting again. Like my availability is going to get shorter, so I just want to get through it.
Understand.
And I can make the discipline and dedication to the training. To I learn fast, so 6 months should be plenty.
As far as I'm concerned, you already know how to fly. I mean,
There's a big difference between flying in a simulator and flying in real life, but I know the procedures. I know the way to think about it. I know how to calculate stuff. I know what happens when things go wrong. But there's a difference between the stuff you pulled in an airplane, Osama. If you do that in a flight simulator, you're just going to go like, oh no, I'm falling. If you do it in a real airplane, you're like falling. And the ground is getting closer really fast, and the chance that you do the right thing gets smaller as stress increases, right?
Of course.
So, one of the books you have to read and one of the things you have to exercise is just your stress responses. Like, how do people react to stress, to lack of oxygen? What are visual illusions? How does your body react to like certain movement, or like how does your balance work? All that stuff is part of your theory, and also of your practice. And then I played Inscription, which is a horror roguelike card game that is incredibly hard to explain, except for you're mostly sacrificing stuff for blood, and then just kind of murder happens.
Okay. Single player.
It's really good. It's like when a few months ago I had Loop Hero as kind of my sudden obsession. Inscription is that right now. It's clever, it's smart, it's really confident in what it is, and it. I don't know. I'm not going to spend much more time because I feel I've been talking a lot this episode.
I want to hear about Inscription.
Yeah, I want to hear about the game a bit.
Yeah.
It's very good. Like basically, it's a card game. You could call it a little. It has a little bit of magic in there, right? And it's very much a. It's really hard to explain. It's a card game where you're building up. You're building up and trying to escape from this evil thing, and you're using a card game to get out.
So is it like tile based? Because I'm looking now and you're placing the cards kind of on a grid. So
yeah, it's sort of like the ones that are yeah. It honestly, if you feel like it looks a little like Magic, it very much plays a lot like a Magic, just weirder.
I see. Okay.
But a lot of it is in like the way the little cards react and the way they animate and sort of like the story behind it. It's like a narrative game, which is also wild. There's your deck. There's like ways to like sacrifice cards to like make other cards more powerful. There's lots of ways to make your cards stronger. There's just a lot going on, but it is definitely a kind of game where it grows in such an enticing way. Like your possibility space grows in such an enticing way that I feel that is a huge part of the game. I would just recommend, you know what? I would just recommend just download this game. If you have any love for card games or creepy stuff, not like scary stuff, but creepy stuff. If you have any love for card games or creepy stuff, just go get Inscription and play it.
Well, speaking of card games, Osama's been playing a bunch of card games recently.
Yes, I have.
Oh yeah, your Magic.
Yes, I started playing Magic again. I really, really had the urge. I hadn't played in, I think, 5 or 6 years. The last time I played seriously was when I was working at Ubisoft. And recently, as in about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, I joined a Magic tournament at a card store. And it's a card store that a friend recommended because, there are card stores of all types. They're the ones when you walk in and you feel like I shouldn't have walked in here, right? People like stare at you, everyone's uncomfortable or whatever it is. And then there are ones that are extremely friendly. So I found a really friendly one recommended by a friend. Everyone was really, really kind. And I showed up and I wasn't the oldest person there. So that was a good sign. There was one other person who looked like they were about my age, and that was good because, like, it's kind of intimidating to show up and play these things, and everybody is
You're only playing against 12-year-olds.
yeah, something like that, right? And it can happen, like
Yeah, it can.
yeah,
Especially with Magic and these kinds of games, right?
yes. Here, like I was, like it was like either the oldest or the second oldest person there. There was one other person around my age, so still it was that, but I didn't feel out of place, so that was a good thing.
Yeah.
The second thing is I was playing a set that I knew nothing about. So it was really like I'm out of practice. I don't know if there are any new rules. I kind of looked quickly and it didn't look like there were any new rules or major rules changes except for the mulligan and how it works. And that was not that big of a deal. So I was like, but I was still, you never know. I don't know the set at all. The set I played was called Kaldheim, which is kind of a successor to Ice Age and Cold Snap, which are the snow-covered lands and snow-covered permanents. I like those other sets, but beyond that, I knew nothing about the set at all. Like, what's a good card in this set? What's a bad card? And I was like, okay, we'll see how this goes. And the first match, I actually won both games.
Wow,
And
nice.
I was like, what's going on? They were both extremely close. I built a red-blue giant tribal deck because the first card that I opened was this card that was a really good giant that was helped by having other giants. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just lean into this and see how far I could take it. And apparently I could take it really far. But then my second match, I lost both.
Oh.
And both were very close. So I'm like, you know what? Luck of the draw. I got a little land flooded in the first one, a little mana screwed in the second one. So it's not so bad. And I kept doing that the entire time. I like either broke even or won, but it was close, or lost, it was close. And I ended up finishing 5th place, which I was super, super happy with.
Well done. Represent.
Wasn't it? It was 8 players, right?
Yeah. So it's like, it is.
Right.
It's an 8-player draft.
Right. No, I just wanted to make sure because last week we said, like, what if you turn 9th? But 5th is good.
No, because they rank it by wins and losses. So I had like
Right.
2-0, 0-2, 1-2, right?
Nice. So
And
you ended up 5th.
yeah, I was not last. And that's what I was worried about. I was really, because everyone there was talking about, oh, this card's good with this, and this has synergy, and do this one and that
Osama just has Osama skills.
And Osama luck. I am a pretty lucky person.
I mean, like with drafting, sure you can grab a good card, but there's a difference between grabbing a good card and then knowing what to do with it.
Yeah, that's true.
And grabbing a good card and then just doing random stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty decent with deck building. It's actually, it used to be my strength back when I used to play Magic before. I could see like how cards combo well together and like find synergies that aren't obvious. But I wasn't confident, and that's why I went with the obvious giants help giants thing this time. I wasn't confident that I would be able to do that because I'm so out of practice. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it worked out. I actually found some interesting combos that were not giants, and I played colors that I don't normally play, and leaned into whatever.
Yeah, because you were red green.
I was red blue in this one.
Well, but normally.
Oh, normally
Your old
I'm green. I like the Naya colors. So my favorite colors are white and green, mostly green. And I if I splash, I usually splash red. So except for my favorite deck, which is not that, which is my artifact recursion deck, almost all my decks have green in them, and they're almost always like 30. Like I like mana ramping and I like big creatures. So almost all my decks are like 30. It's like 40% green and then other colors.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it is what it is.
Well, it sounded like you had a good time with it.
I had a great time, and I almost went back again, and I had to be like, okay, pace yourself, Osama. Don't go every week. That's too much.
So when is next? Like 2 weeks?
And about 2 weeks, yeah. I think I'm going to make it a once a month type thing.
Buying
Nice.
all these cards again, or you never sold yours?
I never sold mine. I have my collection for. Actually, that's wrong. When I first started playing Magic a long time ago, I got rid of my cards when I
Before I
stopped
was
playing.
born.
Yeah, those cards now, no, like honestly, easily would have been worth maybe $10,000 now had I kept them, because I had like dual lands and things that are like, worth a lot of money. I'd never had a Black Lotus, but I had like other cards that are like worth a stupid amount of money. And then I learned my lesson from that. When I started playing again, I'm like, I wish I had those cards. So I never got rid of anything since. And I have pretty good cards now, but old cards. But yeah. But the thing is, when I stopped playing, I just stopped buying cards, and now I don't buy individual cards because I just like drafting. I don't want to, spend
Right.
hundreds of dollars on a deck and compete that way. That's not interesting to me. Like, compete by how much money you can spend. I'd rather like everyone started limited. Everyone starts with the same card pool, and you just play with what you have. That's a lot more fun to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're very passionate about the thing you just described, because I just had to make like 6 notes for things to delete in the edit.
Oh no. Sorry.
It's just like, oh no, Osama's getting into this.
Apologies. Well, I can't help it. It's Magic.
No. No, it's good. It's good. I mean, Magic was a big game for me. I was always a Pokemon. I started with Pokemon was my entry game, and then Yu-Gi-Oh, and then Magic, and I played Magic for a long time until somebody else sold all my cards.
It was your mom?
No, not my mom. No, if my mom had sold my cards, I would not be playing video games with her right now.
I'm trying to guess who would sell your cards. What's going on?
Somebody sold my cards and bought Lego with them.
Oh no! Sounds like a sibling.
So that was very disappointing. It was very disappointing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it immediately quit me from collectible card games and probably saved me a lot of money.
Yeah. So, yeah, Magic. I hope to play you sometime. We can play draft and stuff. It'll be fun.
That sounds fun.
You played any video games, Osama?
Yes. So I finished the first act of Back for Blood, which I know doesn't sound impressive, but it's actually half the game. So Act 1 is half the game. Act 2 is another quarter, and Act 3 is the last quarter.
You played it with friends?
Yes, I'm not playing it alone anymore. That game is not good alone. I made the mistake of trusting them when they said play the tutorial. I'm like, I'll do the tutorial alone, and then I'll jump in. There's no clear like guide when the tutorial starts and ends, or it's not. There's no big distinguishing features from it and the rest of the game. It's just play the whole thing with friends. It's much better that way anyway. I don't think it was. So I went back and replayed from the beginning with friends just to get that full experience. And I made it to halfway. I'm loving the game. It's really good. I can't wait to play it more and finish it. I don't know how much lasting power it's going to have because I didn't get there yet. Like, I played Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 a lot, like replaying those missions over and over. On Steam alone, and I played it across Steam and Xbox 360. On Steam alone, I have like 200 hours in Left 4 Dead 2. Mm-hmm. And I must have had like about as much on Xbox too, because back then there was no crossplay. So if you wanted to play with different people, you got the game twice, right? Yeah. So I don't know if this is going to have that lasting power. I think it can have some lasting power because of the card system and the progression. But the first game didn't have any of that. It was just the gameplay. So I'm not sure if how long I'm going to play. But I do know I'm going to finish it. It's just a lot of fun. What about you, Fauzi? Did you play some more?
I played a little bit more also, but I think around a similar thing. I finished Act 1 as well. I played with a bunch of friends. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good. It's what I said last week. Kind of still sticks around. It's fun to hang around with friends. It's fun to just goof around. The level design I really enjoy like how it like takes you around the map. Yeah, it's fun. It's one of those things that I like. Something that I'm doing while I'm hanging out with friends, kind of.
Yes, absolutely. I also tried to play I started playing The Artful Escape.
Oh,
yes, I like it. I like it a lot.
I love that game.
It's not the kind of game I would normally have told you that is my type of game, but I'm actually really enjoying this one. I do see what you mean. At some point, I think it was Fauzi who said that there are a lot of interesting design choices there, or I don't know if you like if that's a word that you use, but they're kind of like naive design choices or like beginner design choices. Mm-hmm. One thing that I noticed right away is that if you double tap the jump, you like jump and it buffers the second input, and then when you land, you jump again, and like little things like that where you would a more experienced designer would check for it. But on the other side, the storytelling is compelling. It's visually really appealing. I actually want to know what happens next. Like I really genuinely like the want to know what happens next. I'm really enjoying it. The music is really good. I guess that's not surprising.
Yeah,
Since
the
that's
music
like,
is great.
yeah. So I'm loving it. I'm looking forward to playing some more.
That's awesome. I'm looking forward to hear what you think once you finish it.
Absolutely.
How far in are you?
So I didn't get too far. I did the first sequence. I'm in the village or the town, and I'm talking to everybody in the town. So I played like
Ah,
45
okay.
minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna get so much
I
better.
want to hear what you think next week.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
let you know next
That
week.
game is on my. It's gonna land somewhere in my top 10 games this year for sure.
Yeah, it will have to be a really extraordinary year if it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Wow. I have to start working on my list. What are my top games this year?
My list is
Yeah.
overgrown, but also like I'm looking at stuff on my list, and like I remember there's Hitman 3, and I'm like, oh man, yes,
Yeah.
Hitman 3 was this year.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much everything we've talked about on the Habibis was this year.
That's right. That's right.
Good point.
So, there's a lot of games.
That's gonna be fun. I mean, we could do something around our Game of the Year thing at the end of the
Yeah.
year.
I mean, we could. Also, you've done your top 10 games of all time.
Yes.
So we should probably figure out something for end of year
Absolutely.
to figure out a Habibi's top 10.
Oh yeah, that would be nice. I would love to do more
That sounds fun.
Suhoor
Yeah.
bites like mini episodes on my top
Oh,
10
Ramadan
games of
is
the
like
year.
12 days away, so
Yeah.
always 12 days
always
away.
Ramadan is always around the corner.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, no, I'm actually kind of looking forward to doing more Suhoor bites. That was fun.
Yeah, me too.
A lot of work, but really fun. Let's see. Fauzi, how about you? Besides Bond?
I told you I played a little bit of Left 4 Dead, and that's about it.
Oh, yeah.
Really. Yeah.
Yep. Left 4 Dead, right, yeah.
Left 4
Yeah.
Dead. I knew this was gonna happen. I said that. I said that last week. As like every time I'm gonna talk about this game, I'm gonna say Left
Yes.
4 Dead.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
What was it again? Dead 4 Left.
Yeah, I genuinely,
Back-
I looked
back
at the
for
title
more?
and I'm like, what
Back-
are you doing?
Back
for
for
more.
Dead.
Dead.
Back for blood.
Back for Blood. That's the one. Yes.
It's like, I don't know how. Like, I understand why they did it because you can just say Left 4 Dead and everybody understands it.
Yeah.
But also,
Yeah.
I wonder if they tried to get the rights and didn't. I'm curious about that conversation of what happened there.
right.
Yeah. Anyway, I guess we'll
Yeah.
never know.
Well, I think this is it for the show this week. Actually.
Wait.
Yeah.
We got mail.
Oh, that's right. Of course. So if you have emails, send them to info@thehabibis.com. Just
No,
like
but
the
we
following
already-
listeners have, so that Osama can read them.
Yes,
on
we
it.
already got some. And
I like that we again hurried Osama through an ending. Even.
What is happening here? I'm just not even going to try anymore at this point. All right.
Yalla.
So let's
Emails.
start. Emails. I'll start with the first one by Danny Lloyd. He says, hi Habibis. I was listening to your episode Missing Giant Habibi Cat, and love the title, by the way.
Oh my God. I
That's your
don't
new
name an
nickname,
episode
Rami.
once, and this is the stuff that happens.
So how many people love that title, by the way? I'm just saying. And you were talking about what you guys thought of Sable. One issue you had was the visibility at night during the game. I thought I'd check it out because I've been looking for a Breath of the Wild type of game to play on Xbox. And I noticed in the settings that if you go to display colors, you can change it from default to high visibility. So there's something that we didn't know about, and maybe it would have.
Yeah, I had no idea actually.
And that's not the kind of feature that you would normally think to go in the settings for.
Yeah.
So good on you, Danny, for checking it out. But
Yeah, thanks for letting us know. But I never would think that. Oh, I can't see stuff in this game at night. Let me see if I can turn the night off, or like,
Right.
let me see if I can adjust the night in the options, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
cool.
a thing that shouldn't be an option, but it's good that it is an option, I guess.
Yeah. It seems like that
sure.
there's been a discussion in the team, right? Should we go artistic or should we go for clarity? And then like they couldn't agree, and they were like, "All right, let's leave it in the options."
Yep.
But that's good to
So
know. Now
yeah,
I want to turn it on and like have a look and see what that looks like.
yeah.
Yep.
I don't think I still have it installed, but I think I'll install it just to see that.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have another mail, an email by Asif Ismail, no relation to Rami, I guess. And what he says is he actually had two questions for us. The first question is, any thoughts on dropping merch? It's getting a bit chilly here in NYC, and I would put down for a sick Habibis hoodie.
Habibis merch.
Ooh.
Oh, I would be
Habibis merch.
down for a
I'll be
Habibis
down for
hoodie.
that.
Okay,
They're like some
but
Habibi
listen.
the Shadish.
Yes, I'm down for that too.
What we need is Habibis mugs.
Yes.
That's important.
Habibi's Fez.
Mugs with our mugs on them, right?
Wow.
I love it. This is classic Osama. Classic dad joke
Habibis.
Osama.
Habibis Khalabiya.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
If you could find my
Yes.
size, good luck.
Some
Yes.
Habibi's Fez. A tarbush.
Oh,
Yep,
yes.
Yep.
Oh,
Important.
yes.
Important.
Absolutely.
What else? What else do we need?
A hoodie. And
Habibis hoodie.
Yeah.
It's a little old school, a little bit okay.
Hey,
okay.
I would wear it. That's
I
that's
would
my
wear it.
criteria. Yeah.
I would wear it too.
I would wear a Habibi's hoodie. I would.
And
I
then
would.
a Habibi?
You would not wear. You would not wear Habibis Khalabiya.
I would.
I would, absolutely.
Next GDC.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I'm not going to get arrested in San Francisco.
Habibis,
Mate.
high top, flat brim, snapback, baseball cap.
Habibis ship.
Yes.
Yep.
But you can't buy them in pairs. You buy.
No, you buy it
individually. You buy them individually.
Yeah, exactly. They're more like
We only-
ammo. They're not really
Yeah.
wearing.
And to make sure no one wears them, we only make right ones, and that's it.
Perfect.
Love it.
That sounds good. Yeah, maybe I can look into it. I guess I've never really considered doing it.
I didn't
but,
think about that either, but yeah, that sounds cool.
I'm down. All right.
Yeah.
So he had another question.
Uh-huh.
okay.
So his question is, I'm getting married this weekend. Any advice?
Congratulations.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Mabruk.
Yeah. I mean,
that was-
do
that
we
was
want
the
to give
question. Wait,
advice?
what was the
That's
question?
a lot of responsibility. It's any advice was his question.
Any advice of what? Getting married?
Well,
Getting
that's
married?
what he said. So I guess the advice is get married. I don't know.
Right. No.
Yes, go ahead with it, please.
I don't know.
We're not
You
gonna
know.
be the ones that gonna this wedding is off.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Like we're not the ones that are gonna. No, we're holding our peace here at the Habibis.
It's a weird one because I have been married in the past, right? But I will say your wedding is a phenomenal memory,
Mhm.
and it is one of those things where there's two ways of doing it, and one of them is to be stressed out with everything being okay, and the other is just enjoying the wedding.
Yeah.
So just go and enjoy the wedding.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are people around you that you trust that can take care of all the other stuff, but you don't have to in person make sure that everything goes okay. Just welcome everybody, have a good time, enjoy the wedding, try to memorize every nice moment of it, and then just
Yes.
I do have some marriage advice that I could give a little bit.
Osama's marriage. Wait, let me sit back for this. Let me grab a notepad.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, I could.
This
I
is
could-
recorded.
now
by the
there's
way.
too
We can
much
listen
pressure.
back to
I-
this.
Oh
Right.
no, I'm thinking that's too much pressure. I changed my mind. Okay, fine. So, what I was going to say, on a completely serious note, me and my wife are very, very different people, and a part of a successful marriage, and alhamdulillah, we've had a very successful marriage for the last X years, almost 20 years. The important thing is to always try to figure out what the needs of the other person are. One of the earliest mistakes that I made is I'm an extreme extrovert, and I think that will surprise nobody. I just want to see people all the time. And my wife is actually an introvert. So I used to compromise by saying, okay, you know what? I will go to half the things that I want to go to, and you come with me. And that was a point of contention at the beginning. She didn't want to. I didn't understand the difference between an introvert and extrovert back then. And I thought I was compromising. And she couldn't understand why I had to bring her to everything. Because I loved her and I wanted to be around her even when I was with my friends. So it took a while. And even till now, I'm still learning new things and figuring out new things about her likes and dislikes and her comfort zones and everything like that. So the initial mistake that we made is you think you're compromising, but it's not all about compromising. It's really about like listening, understanding, and figuring out what the other person wants and finding a good solution. So for us now, if I want to go to a thing, no questions asked, I go. And she knows that I need that. I need to see my friends and I need everything. She knows that she's always welcome and always invited. Like I never invite her anymore because that puts pressure on her. So she knows. She's like, I want to come. I light up. I'm super happy whenever she wants to come. And I know not to bother with her again. But like even as recently as before the pandemic, because we don't have really people over anymore, I learned that if I wanted to have people over, before it used to be open door policy. Now, like I need to kind of prepare her in advance. You know, she needs to sit with the idea that people are coming over. That's just her. It's her process. That's what she needs to go through as an introvert. And that's not a thing that comes naturally to me. I'm used to, like when I lived alone after I left my parents' house, my door literally, I had a key that my friends knew where it was and they were able to come in whenever they wanted. I'd literally sometimes come home and there's someone on my couch sleeping. And I was like, oh, who is this? And I have to lift up the blanket to see which friend of mine crashed for the night. That's just who I am and how I'm comfortable, right? I love having that. For my wife, that would be a nightmare. She'd just get a hotel room and go somewhere else. Like she'd sleep somewhere else for the night. So it's really about that. Like take the time. Don't just think that you're compromising because you're not doing the thing that you like. That's not what it's about. It's about understanding what the other person's needs and wants are and find a solution that works for both of you. That's it.
That's amazing advice, Osama.
Thank you, Habibi.
And yeah, that sounds awesome. If I was to add one piece of advice, it would be one thing. If it's a wedding, there has to be a dabka. So watch a YouTube video if you don't know how to do it. If people don't know what you're doing, that's even better. Because you just want a chain of people just stomping their feet around, not knowing what they're doing to dabka. That will make your night even more memorable.
That's it. Yeah, I'm not gonna do any relationship advice. I don't think I'm the right person for that.
You're definitely the right person.
But when it comes to weddings, just enjoy the wedding.
Yeah.
And mabruk.
Mabruk, man. Mabruk. That sounds amazing. Mabruk to both of you.
Yes.
All right. Osama, do you have any more emails?
No, I think that's it for this week.
Wow,
that's it for this week. If you want to send
Sheikh Osama's relationship advice column.
Yes.
I would listen to this more often.
Hag Osama is the Dr. Love.
Yes.
I'm blushing now.
Dr. Hub.
Dr. Hub. I love it.
Dr. Hub.
Doesn't translate well, but I'll take it.
Send your relationship questions too.
No. Ask about merch. I want merch.
We'll read them up on
so we get merch.
Osama Dorius, Dr. Hub.
No, please tell me that won't stick.
Oh, you're too late, mate. This is thick. This is one of those glue things that you're never going to get off.
It's
going to be more sticky than it's going to be more sticky than the email thing.
It's at least an episode title, at least.
Yes. Oh yeah, okay, that's the one. That's the one. Let me put it in already.
What did I get myself into? Thanks for nothing, Asif.
Just a new joke for the show. It's important.
If you want everlasting love, similar to what Asif is gonna have, send your questions to info@habibis.com, and Dr. Osama is gonna give you the advice you need.
Actually, one thing that Asif did that was really, really awesome is he actually told me how to pronounce his name, so I didn't have to guess. So thank you.
That's nice.
I appreciate that. If you send emails and you don't want me to butcher your name, there you go. Just tell me how to pronounce it.
Awesome.
Incredible.
That's it for this week. Yes.
I was going to say, wrap it up. I'm going to start the music soon.
Yeah, there you go. That's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. See you next time, next place, sometime, inshallah. Salam.
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 That was the Habibis podcast for this week. I am Fawzi Masmar, your host for this episode. You can find me on Twitter at Fawzi Masmar. My fellow Habibis were Osama Dorias, who you can find on Twitter at Osama Dorias, and Rami Ismail, who you can find on Twitter at THA_Rami. Send us your questions, stories, and suggestions via info@thehabibis.com. Intro and outro music was provided by Malik Zubayla, and the logo was provided by Ibrahim Hamdi. The Habibis is a weekly podcast about 3 game developers drinking good Arab tea, with new episodes launching every Friday, inshallah. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe to your favorite podcasting service, or check out thehabibis.com for more information. Thank you for listening. Salam.